So I just wrapped up the stream. I'm sitting here about 2.5 hours in of Ghost of Yotei. Again, shout out and thanks to our friends over at PlayStation for hooking me up with a code. Hung out there, had a good time. Early impressions is something I want to give before I get into a full review after I wrap up the entire game. Now, where I stand early on at the 2.5 hour mark, I've just gained dual katanas, which then opens up the ability to quickly get in and take out the spearman. And then when you go to fight off somebody else with a single sword, you go back to the single sword because you need that to have two hands in order to fend off your foe. I thought that's cool. I like the touch. I like the maneuverability, and the combat was fluid, fun, and frenetic, and it was really cool to get into. I really did enjoy the combat. The stealth element behind it, though, I want to talk about because, again, one of my biggest gripes about any stealth game is the inability to hide a body. And it's here. I don't understand. If the body gets spotted, then it alerts the guards. Hasn't happened yet. It's not like the body just vanished either. It was still there, but people were just walking by and just not seeing it. So maybe we can get away with it that way. But the ability to pull the body into the higher grass, just to hide the body out of the way, would have been a nice touch. I'm such a stealth fan, so I'm going to focus on my abilities for the assassin so I can get in there quickly, take out the targets, and then bounce out. But if I can't hide the bodies, damn it, that's just annoying. The story setup, though, is on point. I thought the start to the game was really strong. It pulled me in. I got to learn what happened to her family and why we are on this revenge quest. You can check it out too. Careful though, there are spoilers when you get into the stream, so it is something to be a little mindful of, but it is up on the YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But it is motivation to move me forward within the game. I like what's happening. The photo mode is incredible. There are a bunch of dials to kind of get into and sink my teeth into where I know I'll be here for a very long time. Right now, I've got red cranes flying in the background. This is set up on photo mode. I just let it play. And I thought this was a cool little setup. The view is stunning. And I've mentioned it throughout the stream today, how often I'm like, wow, I'm just so impressed by how big the world is. And then you can see the draw distance, everything. All the way down. I was up at this mountain peak, and you're looking down, you can see the smoke is going on. And then the world is huge. The characters are impactful already, setting the tone and high expectations of what this game hopefully will be by the time I wrap it all up. The loss of her family is obviously the big motivation and the revenge of the Yotei 6. However, I got a feeling there's going to be a lot more to unpack and unravel. There are... Oh, man. Let's talk about the controller real quick. This is something I want to deal with because I feel like Ghost of Yotei is almost a launch title for the PS5 because the controller feels like a gimmick. Just throwing it out there. Use the touchpad. Use the touchpad. Use the touchpad. Tilt your controller. Use the touchpad. I don't want to do that. There's a lot of it throughout the game. I like the idea of swiping up. Boom. Here comes the wind. It guides you through. That is cool. After that, though, man, there's so many things where you're using the touchpad and you're painting at the very beginning of the game. And then you got to do this. Then you have to do that with it. And you're tilting the controller. It's so gimmicky that I just don't really like it. And I'm hoping once we get deeper into the game that it's not a big component of playing the game, as I've seen so far early on. I've probably used the touchpad more within the first 2.5 hours of playing Ghost of Yotei than I have since I've had the PS5. Not really feeling that part. However, the rest of it, the voice acting is really cool. The characters that we're learning about are setting up something to hopefully pay off in the end. There's a lot going on right now, and a lot for me to just kind of sit back, think on, and then formulate an actual full opinion. But right now, early impressions is starting strong. And I just changed my camera, I guess. I did something here. Look at this. This is the photo mode adjustment. All right, cool. There we go. I'm having a ton of fun so far. Really digging it. I can't wait to explore. Just want to get my early thoughts. 2.5 hours in. Will it pay off at the end? We'll find out.